rank in your accomplishments?
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know. I can't even tell you. I don't know. I just try to go out there every night and just try to win. I don't no matter what, man, and whatever the outcome comes with it, whether if it's records. My sole purpose of playing the way I play is just to win, and whatever accomplishments come with that, they just come with it.
Got a little more for you though. This is the first time since 1996 when a guy by the name of Michael Jordan scored 35 or more points in 5 straight games that a Bull has done that. What's your reaction to that?
I beat Mike. No, I'm playing. It's just an honor just to be in the same any type of record book with one of the greatest of all time, man. Especially playing for this organization. It's an honor, man. I was laughing and joking with y'all right now. It probably don't hit me right now. It's just, I don't know what role I'm on or what. I'm just being myself.
You obviously been playing well all season, but do you feel any more locked in these past handful of games?
Yeah, just all year. It's just, my goal was just to be completely locked in and continue to get better as the season goes. Just knowing at this point of the season, what it's like, physically, emotionally, the ups and downs of the season, being fully prepared for it and just understanding it for me, just my experience being in the league and, as the season go on, I really try to be conscious of how I could be better, how I can make my teammates better and keep evolving. That's just my mentality.
Just that sounds easier said than done, right? Like playing a lot of minutes a night, obviously not in the league for a while. Like how have you been able to do that to stay as sharp as you have this late in the season?
Who said you can't get sharper, throughout time, throughout a season? I never try to limit my imagination, my thought process, my options, my opportunities. Every time I go out there on the floor, the preparation I put off the floor, carry that over to on the floor. Whether it's mentally, you just carry yourself that way. I watch, I study, and just because I have a good game, I always try to look at all the negative things that happen or things I could have did better more than anything. And it haven't been a game where I walked away from it saying, I did everything perfect. So it's always room for some type of improvement.
Kind of close those guys out. But Bruce got it going in the third quarter, scoring 15, taking advantage of them inside. What was different in that period? You guys going now?
Just going to them, feeding them. We kind of understood in the moment where they was coming from, where they was going to double team him. Him just going quick, trying to get him easy shots here and there. But he dominated. When he dominate like that, we tough to beat. He was big on the boards again, and it was a hell of a night.
DeMar, this is just an observation, but just after watching you score on everybody these last all season, it seemed like you might have given it a little bit to Lou Dort's defense tonight, kind of looking to pass off or get switched onto someone else. Is there anything about him that was a little better defensively than?
He's tough. I've been a fan of his since he came in league, even in college. The intensity that he played with, you could tell he studies. A lot of guys' tendencies. I watch him guard some of the best players in this league and get them fits. And I was conscious of it. I got nothing but respect for his game. What he does defensively is amazing. So for me, just understanding that and respecting what he do defensively, picking and choosing and trying to understand how I could be effective versus him.
It's no secret you've been scoring in this league for a long time. And I think with Toronto, I think in one season you averaged 27 something, which is about where you are now. So, but did you anticipate, not that you're old, but 5 or 6 years later, that not only you could be scoring at your peak that you had in your career, but that you're sort of, on an upswing?
Yeah. Just years, my 3 years in San Antonio, I kind of took a back seat from scoring so much, just to open up other parts of my game and understand that, but in the back of my mind, I always, at heart, I was a scorer. That was my mentality first and foremost. And, I knew that part of me was still in me. I didn't give a chance to, really just let it out like I wanted to in San Antonio because, it was other parts of my games that I started to grow at, and I always knew I had this in me, and my confidence was always there. So, just putting everything into one, I think that's what you're seeing now.
Billy,
You've all, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, Billy, before we were asking him about, your score, he's coached, Kevin Durant and Carmelo, Russell Westbrook, some of the tremendous scorers in this era. He said your scoring has been, as good or better than anybody. What does that mean when you hear something like that?
I mean, that's great company to be named in. All those guys is definitely, Hall of Fame players, staples in this league, in the history books, and just to be like I said, just be in the same category as that is amazing. It's not a accident. Why how I'm able to do this. I definitely put in the time, the work, and I just. Since I've been in this league, I always want to continue to get better and, want to be one of the best players in this league and always be known as a winner for the things that I did. And, I think that's just where I'm at right now.
DeMar, you've downplayed the number of minutes you're playing it every time we've asked you about it. And I'm not a minutes police guy. I remember Michael never came out.
Yeah.
But what kind of preparation are you going through in the moments that we don't see to allow you to play at this level for this long?
One, rest, cold tubs, consistently massages, stretching, normateching, you name it. You got to stay on top of, your body, eating right. It's a full process that you got to be on top of. Can't wait to get home. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do Normatech tonight. Get my legs feeling back good. Stretch before I get in bed. You just got to stay on top of. Stay on top of it. Luckily, it's a day off tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be off my feet for the next 24 hours till we play again. So stuff like that.
Has that process become more involved as you've moved through your career?
Oh, for sure. I remember being young. You go home and feel like you play again, but this time around, I'm gonna go home and sit my ass down.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you ever, this team has been through so much injury-wise and, just piecing everything together. Do you think about what you guys would be like once you're healthy?
It's like a dream. I dream about every night. Being on a sunny, beautiful island. That's how I picture it when we get back healthy. And we're gonna get there. It sucks right now, but we gotta weather it. But it's gonna come.
How much do you feel you have to push yourself now because of the circumstances? So many guys out and so many guys dropping day to day.
I think my mentality stay the same. It's just go out there and compete. When I step on that, step out there on the court, is win by any means, honestly. And whether if we have everybody or we down something, that's just gonna be my mentality every time I step out there. Appreciate it.
Been on these last couple of weeks, especially, with so many guys out and the amount of time he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really amazing just watching him play night after night. Even with the back-to-backs. I mean, the thing that was so impressive tonight to me with him is it's 7 games in 10 days. And it's not like we asked him to do a lot tonight. He's been doing it the entire year. And, more than anything else, try to help him spacing wise, get to areas of the floor where he feels comfortable. And, he has great focus and great concentration. I think he really prepares himself incredibly well. I mean, he's just a different kind of scorer, Durant is obviously off the charts as a scorer, and even having Russell Westbrook as a scorer, Carmelo, I had a little bit later, Paul George, in terms of how he plays and what he does and where he gets to on the floor in today's day and age where, it's interesting. When I was coaching Chris Paul 2 years ago, he was an unbelievable mid-range player. I mean, when he came off pick and roll and got to the elbows, those were like layups. And I think that the unfortunate part is in today's NBA, there's been like a devaluing, of those shots. And I think that, not all 3-point shots are created equal. And I think people are really seeing, how dynamic he is. I would rather take 2 points than no points, and when he gets to his spots on the floor, he is just he's an incredibly unique player. And, he's got, I give him a lot of credit because he works hard. He takes care of himself. He comes ready. He's incredibly professional, but he's as good of a scorer as I've been around to answer your question.
Is that something you guys talked about when you were thinking about pursuing DeMar, you and AK in the front office, kind of the fact that he's kind of zagged with the zig of the league? Like,
I've had a conversation with him. I had a conversation, with Chris Paul, because I think Chris coming out of Houston where they took a lot of 3-point shots. There's this thing where, we got to shoot more threes. Sometimes I don't necessarily, I really believe the analytics are an important part of the game. I do, but it's not the end all be all. And everything is not about numbers. I think everything is about, how do you try to utilize the strengths of an individual player? And I had, my last year in Oklahoma City with Dennis Schroeder, Chris Paul, and Shea. They were all guys that kind of played in that mid-range, floaters, runners, that kind of stuff. And I think when you look at an individual player who gets those kind of shots like DeMar, who is so elite at it, he's as good as there is in the league at it. We talked about it. I felt like when he came and he and I had spoken that I want him to be him. I'm not interested in him. Like if he's got, I think he's a way better 3-point shooter than maybe he's been given credit for. So when he's open, if he wants to take those, it's fine. And I think that he's selective. I think people sit there and say, well, he's not a really good 3-point shooter. It's not that. He just didn't take a lot because he gets to better areas of the floor and he's maybe more efficient there. But I really, in our conversations, had talked a lot about, because when he was in San Antonio playing against him quite a bit, and even in Toronto, just, seeing him, I've always been a big fan of his game. And I just wanted him to come here and be him, and hopefully he feels like he's able to do that.
What you guys do in the third quarter to get Vooch going? 15 points in that period.
Yeah, we posted him a little bit early to start the game. I think that we started off slow. I thought Oklahoma had, better energy than we did to start the game. I think we kind of picked it up. This has been a tough stretch, having Zach out and Javante out. We were down bodies. There was a huge load asked for DeMar and Vooch tonight. Vooch was really good. I think there were some opportunities. He had 5 turnovers in the first half, and I think some of that, helped him actually in the second half figure things out of where he kind of gets to some spots. But, he was a monster down there. He finished around the basket, a couple of really, really great dunks, great plays. He was a presence down there. And, they had normally like to come from the backside to trap. And I thought he really made some really, really good decisions in that third quarter where not only did he get it out for some shots for some guys, but he also had some great finishes.
Some bursts on those finishes. You think that's a thing, but with the turnovers, you think that kind of inspired him a little?
He's really a smart player, Vooch. He's really, really smart and he's very experienced. I think that, going through that first half, he, like any player, it's like the same thing with DeMar. I think a lot of times if you watch DeMar play, DeMar kind of reads the game as the game's going on. Like he's reading that first 6 minutes. Like a lot of times he's not necessarily injecting himself into it. I think because we did some things to get Vooch down into the low post early in the game, there was some coverages and things that happened. And some of them were all in the low post. But I think Vooch can figure out what's going on, what's happening, how he's being guarded, and then he adjusts very well.
Bill, you mentioned that with Derrick, it was a matter of his pain tolerance level, and he certainly had a lot of pain to tolerate. He looked like he was in a lot of pain when he smashed it on that dunk. He also deflected a ball. what kind of feedback did you get from him throughout the game, and what do you think his status is now?
Yeah, I mean, I asked him with maybe 6 or 7 minutes to go in the fourth if he thought he could continue on. And he said yes. So, I mean, he's going to have some of that. It's just like we had talked about before the game. How much can he tolerate of it? I don't think it's like crazy, crazy pain for him. At least that's what he's told me. So I don't want to speak for him. But, you know, he's going to have some of those things where he's going to get hit and it's probably going to, you know, run up into his elbow and he's going to feel some pain and then it kind of subsides and he can kind of move on.
What does that say about him that he's playing through that at a time when you guys are the short end?
Listen, I mean, I think that, you know, I don't know if he knew what Javante's status was today. And, you know, I think he's looking at our team and, you know, having Javante out, Zach out, you know, if he was to be out again tonight, you know, we're playing, you know, a lot of different guys in a lot of different situations. And, you know, I think his feeling probably was he's a great team guy of how can I come in there and just kind of contribute and jump in there and get in a fight and do what I can do to help. So I mean, I just appreciate him, you know, willing to do that. There was no pressure on him to play. It was really all his decision and we've left it up to him. And he felt like he was at a place where he could tolerate it. So, you know, maybe this will be good for him, give him some confidence that, okay, you know, I played in a game, got some good quality minutes, you know, banged my hand. I felt it and, you know, I can kind of move forward with it.
I wanted to follow up on Vucevic. But like last 3-4 weeks, he's shooting like 60%. And, you know, those close-in shots, the first 20, 30, he was missing those shots
Yes.
all the time. What is he doing something different? What are you seeing the difference that now he's so accurate with these shots when he had so much trouble before?
I agree with you, Sam. He had a really, really hard time. I think the shots around the basket, even some of the mid-range shots, the threes, you know, just kind of uncharacteristic for him. I feel like he's had the biggest adjustment, you know, between Zach and DeMar. And what I mean by that is that, and I said this before, Zach and DeMar, when the ball's in their hands, they can get to spots and create their own shot. Vooch needs a lot of times other guys to find him in the post quickly when he's open, find him on pick and pop situations, find him in the pocket. And, you know, sometimes when you're learning how to play with new players and you've been accustomed to doing something for 9 years in one place and kind of know when and where it's going to happen, you get a little bit better. So a lot of times for him, I think it's him figuring out, okay, where my spots are with certain players, where am I going to get it from certain players, what's open inside the offense. And I think it's taken, but I think he's really done a great job. I think he's mentioned a lot about trying to figure things out. That's the figuring out. It's not necessarily figuring out his offensive game as much as because like when you get the ball and you're not ready to shoot or expecting to shoot, it's hard to shoot a high percentage. And I think he's got a much, much better feel with our team in terms of where he's getting it, when he's getting it. And I'm hopeful that he's feeling more and more comfortable, you know, inside of what we're doing and inside with the different combinations of players he's playing with.
Billy, how much of that is on him versus the other guys on the team, though?
It's both. It's both, because you know what ends up happening sometimes, and I've said this, you know, like when you're playing with a really good pick and roll player like Vooch is a big man who can roll and pop and play in the mid range, you got to get it to him in rhythm. You know, you got to get it to him where he can kind of get his feet set and he can kind of get into his shot. And there's also a point too, you know, where he's got to also, you know, understand the player he's playing with, when that player is more likely to pass it to him. So it's really kind of it's no different than pick and roll coverage defensively. It's kind of a 50-50 deal. Both players have got to work together, you know, on it. But also, you know, I do think this, and I've said this many times and not intentionally, there's a lot of times that we miss Vooch. We miss Vooch in the post. We miss him on pick and pops behind the 3-point line. And the thing about him is he's always been a great team player with that. And he knows he's playing with new guys. And guys now, when you show film, they can see, hey, listen, he's open in these spots. This is a good area to get him the ball. So it's really both players working together and players recognizing, you know, when he's open and when he's in position and rhythm to shoot.
I just one.
Sure.
I may have dozed off before.
You did?
Game. I might have.
You might have. Okay.
Yeah. What's wrong with Green?
Why didn't you ask that earlier?
I may have dozed off, like
Okay.
I said.
It was really kind of a strange, thank God, nothing MRI, nothing too significant. It's almost like a bruised foot. When he landed, his leg was kind of up in the air and it just came whipping down. And in the last game, yes, when he had that dunk, he kind of slipped off the rim. His foot slammed against
His wrist landed.
he got a little bit of his wrist. Thank God it wasn't too bad, but his foot really slammed into the floor. And I think that whipping motion of his leg is what really caused, a bruise and some discomfort there. So they MRI'd him. They didn't know what to expect on the MRI. It doesn't look anything significantly long term. He could use maybe possibly a couple of days. So I don't know what his availability will be next game. But it's the news was a lot better than maybe what it could have been. So we're happy where it's at, and he had a hard time walking this morning. He got better as the day went on, but he certainly wasn't in a position to play. Okay, thank you.
You took a couple other blows on the finger. How much pain are you in? Are you going to be able to continue playing?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not in too much pain. It's just at the time it happens, it's just like a sharp pain, and I mean, I'm gonna just get through it. So I ain't tripping.
What made you decide to start playing tonight? Like,
Me personally, I love to compete, and me being out since January 12th it's been eating me alive on the inside. And I mean, I was just waiting for this pain to die down a little bit so that I can hop back out there. So as soon as it went away a little bit, I was right back out there tonight.
Derek, we haven't talked to you in a while, but the way Billy described how the finger happens to us, it sounded like it was a pretty freak accident. Could you describe to us kind of how that actually played out?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I was on the verge of coming back from my knee injury versus Brooklyn, and I felt like I was coming back versus San Antonio on the road, or that first game back home versus Portland. And so I just felt like I should ramp up my workouts a little bit. And, I went through my workout like I normally do. And it was just like the last segment of things I was going through. The ball just hit my finger the wrong way. And it didn't feel right. So that's what happened.
You mentioned the competitive aspect being away for so long. How frustrating was that to be that close, that on the cusp, and then have this thing set you back?
Nah, it was heartbreaking. I mean, you can ask everybody that was in the gym with me that day. They know how I felt, and they know how I still feel about that. But I mean, it is what it is. Things happen, and I mean, you just gotta battle through adversity and just keep pushing. That's what I did.
How is the splint difficult for you to play with, or is it obviously it's necessary, but is it difficult? I know it's in your non-shooting hand, but
Nah, I'm cool. I'm good. It's not bothering me, so I'm gonna just keep going.
Derek, as you watch DeMar in this role that he's on scoring, what comes to mind for you?
That nobody can stop him. It's really, I mean, I talk to everybody. I mean, everybody that I know on the opposite teams that I'm cool with, they just seem to somehow reason be messed up with him. And I mean, me personally, I'm gonna let you know how bad of a night you're gonna have guarding him. So I mean, I'm gonna talk my trash for him. He ain't even gotta say nothing to you. I'm gonna talk it for him. So
Do they dare even say anything back like, I'm
Not to
going to
him.
do this
not to him.
to you about what they can do?
No, not to me either. Cause he right there. I dare you say something. He gonna make you look even stupider. He ain't gonna never say nothing like that. But nah, it's incredible. Just to be able to witness this, and he's an incredible player. I've been saying this since I got into the league, and I told him before, I'm glad I'm on this team now because I ain't gotta be the one guarding him all them damn shot fakes. But yeah, no, he's an incredible player. He's on an incredible role, and I just hope he keep it up.
About those shot fakes, we're sitting there watching from press row, and it's easy for us to say, why do they keep going for him? It's not just the Thunder, it's a lot of teams. What is it so about that shot fake that's so difficult to stay down on?
I can't stay down on it, so I can't tell you. Like it's hard to do it. I mean, that it's tough. I mean, it's just that's his game. You can know that's his game as much as you want. You can watch as much film as you want, but you gonna jump. No matter what, you gonna jump. You can do whatever you want. It's just a tendency. I mean, when I was in Miami, I had to guard D Wade a lot, and he's the same play. He's the same way, but it's like there's no way that you gonna stop it. So, and you either jump for the pump fake or he gonna hit the mid range. So you choose. You pick your poison.
I'm sorry, Derek, what do you think about DeMar's personality? Like, you see so many of the top scorers in the NBA just have kind of an intensity, kind of a over the topness sometimes, like guys like KD and going back to Jordan and DeMar's just like so much the old guy who shows up for the pickup games and nothing phases him. What do you make of that?
No, I mean, that's just who he is. I mean, he's just a laid back guy. I mean, he leads by example. He's not much of a, I mean, he speaks, and when he speaks, everybody hears him and everybody listens. But I mean, it's just, he's more of a actions guy. He go out there, if he tell you that we need to do something, he's gonna be the first one out there doing it. So, I mean, that's the one thing I respect about his game. He's always been a man of his word, and he always act upon it.
Tell us who are some of the guys who you talking about, you guys you're friends with?
Nah, I ain't even gonna put them under the bus. Just know that they know that they got cooked. We ain't gonna talk about it. They know what happened.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Derek.